Did you know that in 2025, the United States is tightening its grip on foreign workers? Several Asian countries could soon face a massive U.S. work ban, a move that may change the lives of millions of overseas workers. But why is the U.S. taking this step? And which countries are on the list? Find out in this video. 10 Asian countries facing U.S. work ban 2025. Number 10. Myanmar. At number 10, we have Myanmar. This country has long struggled with political instability and human rights violations. With ongoing military conflict and the absence of a stable democratic government, the international community, including the United States, has kept a close eye on Myanmar. And when a nation is under heavy sanctions, its overseas workers are often the first to feel the consequences. Many Myanmar workers are forced to seek opportunities abroad due to extreme poverty and limited jobs at home. Unfortunately, a significant number of them enter the United States through irregular migration routes. This means relying on illegal recruiters, forged documents, or even human smuggling, practices that U.S. authorities are determined to crack down on. Because of this, it's no surprise that Myanmar is among the countries at risk of facing a U.S. work ban in 2025. For the United States, this issue goes beyond just employment. It's also about security, compliance, and the protection of workers. As long as Myanmar remains unstable, its people will continue to face major challenges in finding safe and legal employment overseas. Oh wait, before we continue, we'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with these issues? What's your opinion on this topic? Drop a comment below and tell us what you think. And don't forget to include where you're from, so we can see how far this video has reached. Number 9. Sri Lanka. In recent years, the country has faced a severe economic crisis, leading to skyrocketing inflation, shortages of basic goods, and limited job opportunities at home. Because of this, thousands of Sri Lankans have looked abroad for work, with many setting their sights on the United States as a way to secure a better future. However, this migration surge has created problems. A significant number of Sri Lankan workers in the U.S. end up overstaying their visas or working without proper documentation. In immigration terms, they become what we call undocumented workers, a situation that the U.S. government has been strictly monitoring. These patterns place Sri Lanka on the radar for tighter restrictions. For the U.S., the concern is not only about visa violations but also about the potential risks tied to illegal recruitment networks and labor exploitation. As long as Sri Lanka continues to battle its internal economic struggles, the pressure on its people to seek work abroad will remain high, and so will the possibility of facing a U.S. work ban in 2025. Number 8. Nepal. This country is known for having one of the highest proportions of overseas workers in the world. With limited job opportunities and low wages at home, many Nepalese are forced to seek employment abroad, including in the United States. For countless families, working overseas has become the only hope to escape poverty. But along with this growing demand comes the rise of illegal migration routes and human trafficking cases. Many Nepalese workers fall victim to illegal recruiters who promise jobs in the U.S. but later leave them stranded with fake or incomplete documents. These situations have raised alarms in Washington and are a key reason why Nepal is increasingly under U.S. scrutiny for potential restrictions. For the United States, this issue is not only about employment, but also about security and worker protection. With repeated cases of trafficking and undocumented migration linked to Nepal, it's no surprise that the country is considered at risk of facing a U.S. work ban in 2025. Until these challenges are addressed, Nepalese workers will continue to struggle to enter America through safe and legal means. Number 7. Pakistan. For decades, the country has been closely monitored by the United States due to security concerns and geopolitical tensions. Alongside these issues, a large number of Pakistani nationals have sought better opportunities abroad, with the U.S. being one of the most desired destinations. However, this high demand has also led to widespread violations of immigration rules. One of the biggest concerns is the growing number of overstaying workers. Many Pakistani migrants enter the U.S. legally, but later remain beyond their visa validity, becoming undocumented. This not only strains the American immigration system but also puts these workers at risk of exploitation and deportation. Cases of forged documents and illegal recruitment have further intensified U.S. scrutiny. Because of these factors, Pakistan is now seen as highly vulnerable to tighter U.S. restrictions in 2025. For Washington, it's not simply about jobs, but about maintaining national security and enforcing immigration laws. As long as these challenges persist, Pakistani workers may find it increasingly difficult to secure legal opportunities in the United States. Number 6. Bangladesh. The country is known for having one of the largest populations of overseas workers in Asia. With widespread poverty and limited job opportunities at home, millions of Bangladeshis look abroad for employment, and the United States is one of their top destinations. However, this surge in migration has also brought a rise in illegal entry and visa overstaying cases. Reports have revealed a growing number of fake recruitment agencies exploiting desperate workers. Many Bangladeshis are promised quick access to U.S. jobs, only to discover later that their documents are incomplete or forged. As a result, they are forced to work without proper legal status, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation and deportation. Because of these issues, Bangladesh now faces a strong possibility of being included in the U.S. work ban in 2025. For Washington, this is not only an employment matter but also one of border security and the fight against human trafficking. As long as these problems persist, U.S. authorities are expected to keep Bangladesh under strict watch. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future uploads. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about this topic. We're all ears. Number 5. Indonesia. Indonesia stands as one of the largest sources of migrant workers in Asia, with thousands seeking opportunities abroad every year. But in the case of the United States, this massive labor migration has raised red flags. Reports highlight issues such as overstaying visas, using forged documents, and frequent cases of non-compliance with U.S. labor standards. These patterns have placed Indonesia under serious scrutiny. Why is this a growing concern? Many Indonesian workers rely on recruitment agencies, but not all of them operate legally. Fake documentation and exploitative contracts have been widely reported, creating risks not just for the workers themselves but also for U.S. employers who unknowingly hire them. With such cases piling up, U.S. authorities are tightening their watch on Indonesian migration. If this trend continues, the possibility of a work ban for Indonesia becomes stronger by the day. And that means millions of families back home who depend on overseas income may face an uncertain future. The big question is, can Indonesia act fast enough to fix these issues, or will the U.S. move forward with stricter restrictions that could change the lives of thousands of Indonesian workers overnight? Number 4. Vietnam. In recent years, the number of Vietnamese workers entering the United States has continued to grow. But along with this increase comes a serious issue: undocumented entries and cases of human smuggling. Many Vietnamese are reported to have entered the U.S. through illegal routes, putting themselves at great risk while also straining America's immigration system. Why has this become such a critical issue? Human smuggling syndicates are exploiting the desperation of workers searching for better opportunities. Instead of going through the proper legal process, many are forced to rely on dangerous and illegal channels, making them vulnerable to abuse and fraud. Because of this, U.S. authorities have placed Vietnamese arrivals and applications under tighter scrutiny. If Vietnam fails to address the rising wave of illegal migration, it could face the harsh consequence of a U.S. work ban. And if that happens, thousands of Vietnamese families who depend on overseas remittances will be directly affected. The big question is, can Vietnam fix these problems before it's too late, or will the doors of opportunity in America finally close on them? Number 3. Malaysia. Malaysia has long been recognized as a major transit hub for migrant workers trying to reach the United States, both legally and illegally. Because of its location in Southeast Asia, it has become a key gateway exploited by smuggling networks. Unfortunately, many workers fall victim to trafficking syndicates and fake recruiters who take advantage of their desperation. Adding to this concern are years of international reports highlighting labor exploitation and human trafficking cases within Malaysia. Countless migrants have ended up in abusive working conditions, with little to no protection of their rights. These issues have raised red flags for U.S. immigration authorities, placing Malaysia under closer watch. If Malaysia fails to address these deep-rooted problems, it risks being included among the countries facing a U.S. work ban. And should that happen, it won't only affect Malaysian workers, it could disrupt migration flows across the region. The question now is, will Malaysia act quickly enough to fix these issues before the doors of opportunity close? Number 2. India. India is one of the largest sources of migrant workers in the United States, especially in the technology and service sectors. From IT specialists to healthcare professionals, Indian workers have become a vital part of the U.S. economy. But along with this massive presence comes a growing challenge. Visa overstays and irregular entries are on the rise, putting India under the spotlight of U.S. immigration authorities. Reports have also surfaced about fake job offers and fraudulent recruitment agencies targeting Indian workers. These schemes not only exploit vulnerable applicants but also damage India's credibility in the eyes of U.S. officials. As more cases of illegal entry and overstaying pile up, the risk of tighter restrictions becomes increasingly likely. If India ends up on the U.S. work ban list, the consequences could be massive. Millions of Indian families rely on remittances from America, and many industries in the U.S. depend heavily on Indian talent. The real question is, will India be able to tighten its systems and protect its workers' reputation before the U.S. makes its final decision? Number 1. Philippines. The United States has always been one of the top destinations for Filipino workers, from healthcare professionals to skilled laborers. But behind this strong presence lies a growing concern: issues of labor rights violations, visa overstays, and undocumented migration. These problems have placed the Philippines under the radar of U.S. immigration authorities, who now view the country as high risk. Another serious factor is the rise of illegal recruitment. Countless Filipinos have fallen victim to fake agencies and fraudulent job offers that promise opportunities in the U.S. but instead trap them in debt, abuse, or undocumented status. This ongoing issue has strained bilateral labor agreements between the two countries, making U.S. officials more cautious about granting work visas to Filipinos. If the Philippines were to face a U.S. work ban, the impact would be enormous. Millions of families back home depend on remittances, and many industries in America rely heavily on Filipino workers. The question now is, can the Philippines fix these issues and strengthen its labor systems, or will it find itself at the top of the restriction list in 2025? And that wraps up the 10 Asian countries that may face a US work ban in 2025. Alarming, isn't it? With issues like illegal recruitment, overstaying, and human trafficking, millions of workers could lose their chance to pursue the American dream. The question now is, what steps will these nations take to prevent this from happening? And if restrictions push through, how will it affect the families who rely on remittances from the US? If you found this video insightful and want more updates like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll always be updated with our next content.